bringing you the latest news from Monterey Athletics. This is the Plainsman Fan Zone Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Good Tuesday evening and welcome into the high school fan zone on 100.7 The Score. It's good to be back after not being on last night while the Cowboys played and the Texas Tech Red Raiders played. I think half of those games turned out the way folks wanted them to. Don't know that Cowboys are making a whole lot of people happy. I'm with Luke Arrington from Monterey. Luke, are you a Cowboys fan?
Unfortunately, right now I am.
It's hard to be a Cowboys fan right now. I'm a Chiefs fan. I have been for years. I always make sure and qualify that when I tell people.
That's a good thing to do.
And I don't mind the people can come on the bandwagon all they want.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs and the Cowboys for years have a lot in common. They had all the talent, just tantalized you and disappointed you.
Yep.
Not anymore. Chiefs are making
They're doing all right.
And they got beat by a really good team the other night. I've got some friends who are Chiefs fans that were just down in the dumps. Bills are really good.
Bills are good. It's a great rivalry, too.
And that quarterback
Josh Allen's not too bad.
Side. Yeah. And he made a play. So
yes, he did.
You guys made a few plays last week. First round of playoffs, Monterey beat El Paso Bel Air 63-0.
Yes, sir.
In the Class 5A Division I by-district round. Monterey's first playoff win since 2019. They were back in the playoffs for the first time since 2020. Took care of business. Now the narrative changes here a little bit because they head into the area round against a much different team, Denton Ryan, the Denton Ryan Raiders, who have been a thorn in the side at times for a lot of teams. This goes back to, what year were you born?
2006.
This is before you were born.
Jeez.
The first time Friendship went to the state semifinals, there was Denton Ryan. They had a quarterback named James Battle. I need to remember that. Coach was asking me his name the other day. Didn't fare so well. And that was a really good Friendship team. That was a guy named Kendall Bryles, a guy named David Thomas.
Yeah.
Really good team. Didn't fare so well. Coronado and Monterey have run into Denton Ryan in the past. I think Coronado beat them once, but it's always been a little bit of a hurdle. So you guys have some history. You have a chance to make a little bit of history this week.
Yes, sir. In
the second round against a very good, I believe if I looked at the Dave Campbell rankings, they're ranked number 3 in the state.
Sounds about right.
5A.
Yes, sir.
And we were talking before we came on. You said that their defense is pretty good.
Yeah, they got a pretty solid D-line.
And tell me what jumps off the page when you look at them.
Just like I said earlier, their D-lines, that's probably the highlight of the whole team, honestly. That's what makes them go. And I think if we take care of that up front, it should be good to go.
They didn't get to be 10-1 by accident.
No,
they
definitely not.
I haven't looked that deeply at their roster to see who's getting recruited by who and all that. That's always something at this time of the year. But the fact is you guys have some dudes as well.
Definitely. There's one of them.
There's a couple of you guys here that have made a big splash. I liked, I think one of it was L.A. the other day, my guy who covered the game, that he talked about that sometimes when you go 0-10, I think it was you.
It was. Yes, sir.
You played an 0-10 team, but you understand that they're still fighting them. There's still
definitely
a desire to come out and do something. So you guys had to take care of business. You had to prepare for them like you would anybody else. What did you like about the way you guys prepared and came out and executed that game plan?
Yeah, we were there at one point. A lot of the seniors were there. So we know that you can't take them lightly. They're just as hungry as we are. We know we've been in that position before. We weren't in the playoffs, but every game we wanted to win. And every game was close as an 0-10 team. And so you can't overlook a team like that, or they'll come out and punch you in the mouth. And I thought we prepared very well, and I think it showed. And
to me, anytime there's a 0 on one side of the score, it says something about what your defensive guys did. Mm-hmm. They understood the assignment, and you guys came out and took care of business. What did you like about what you guys did on defense?
I liked it. It's just our defense was just making it. It was like a regular game, any other team, having to just make sure we stopping the run, stopping the pass, and knowing what's coming towards us, knowing we have to be 100% and going hard every play and not taking plays off.
So we're going to talk more. We're not that close to a break. Luke and I talked about what the offense is facing against Denton Ryan. Let's flip it over to you. What do you guys have to be prepared for on that side of the ball against Denton Ryan? Because looking at their scores, they know how to put up some points.
They have really good running backs, and then they got some really good receivers. They lost one of their good receivers. He hurt his leg. They're down a receiver, but they have players that didn't stepped up. I'm knowing that number 2, he's a really good receiver. I'm having to guard him most likely whole game, and I know I have to be able to guard him and be 100% every play on him because that's who they run the offense through. And then you have the running backs. I think they're brothers, 4 and 6. They really good, knowing how to maneuver around and get open.
The receiver you're talking about is a kid named Braden Massett.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to look. I had his stats up here a second ago. I'm going to call him up and look at him. We're going to talk about you guys' stats here in a minute, though, because I'm more impressed with what you guys have done. Let's see. Brandon Massett, 46 catches, 731 yards, and 12 touchdowns. So he knows how to get up and down the field.
Yes, sir.
And then you mentioned the running backs. Let's see who they are. They do have a couple of brothers. I don't know that younger brother is one of the main guys. Let's call him Nehemiah Warmate. I'm not sure if that's a Warmate. Looks like Warmate. But they are very balanced, and you guys have seen some balanced offenses, but I don't know if you've seen balanced offenses with this level of talent. You guys are the underdogs again. I talked to a couple of your teammates yesterday for a podcast. You guys are back to being the underdogs, which both of you can answer this. You guys have fared pretty well when you've got that chip on your shoulder. Is it good to have that chip back? Is it good to
yes, sir.
Kind of be painted back in the corner again?
Because we want to have more fight, knowing that we're the underdogs, that we just got to go out there and play being the underdogs, and we got to go play our game.
What about you, Luke? You guys have won 6 in a row, and I think you're averaging about 50 points in that stretch. But now you have to kind of reverse roles here a little bit.
Yeah, we love being the underdog. It's not something we shy away from. So we'll just have to come out here and handle some business.
Well, and that is what the Plainsmen are taking aim at Friday night. I'm sorry, wrong game here. Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. at Wildcat Stadium on the campus of ACU. That will be on 93.7. Let me make sure. Yes, 93.7 The Eagle. 93.7 The Eagle's got a couple of games on the Raymar Air this weekend. Class 5A Division I area round, Monterey against Denton Ryan. We'll be back to talk more on the Plainsman Fan Zone about that game and what the Plainsmen have done to get to this point after this break on 100.7 The Score. Welcome back into the Plainsman Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. I'm Randy Rosetta. I've got Q Boyd and Luke Arrington from the Plainsman football team with me. They have a big game Saturday. Make sure I get that right this time. 3 p.m. Saturday at ACU's football stadium, Wildcat Stadium, Anthony Field. It's got a lot of different names. Beautiful facility. Have you guys been there before?
I have, yes.
I've been there once.
You can use that one until Coach gets here. It's for, I think it's Division I AA. They just won their conference, I believe.
Yes.
And for that level of football, it's really incredible what they've done with that. What those guys are able to. Are there any former Plainsmen there? I know they've got a lot of former Lubbock guys.
Yeah, Tyron Bradley played there before he went to West Virginia.
Okay.
So he transferred to West Virginia.
We've got a lot of your guys at WT&E and MU. I know a lot of those.
That's right.
I want to run through the schedule real quick while I'm thinking about it. Friday, there are games Friday night. Friendship is everybody's on the road this week, obviously. Friendship is also in Abilene Friday night, 6 p.m. at Anthony Field, ACU against South Lake Carroll. That's actually on 93.7 The Eagle this week. Lubbock Cooper is in Abilene. They play at Shotwell Stadium at 7 p.m. against Prosper Walnut Grove, a first-year varsity program. Chip Darden told me tonight that they played kind of an outlaw schedule last year. This is their first official season. That game's at 7 p.m. at Shotwell Stadium. Idalou plays Stanton. That is down in Denver City, 7 p.m. That will be on Sunny 97.7 FM. Estacado's just outside of Abilene. They play Brock in a 4A Division II area-round game at Clyde High School. It's not on these airwaves, but Nick Long will have the call on that one. That's it as far as the public school city games. Lubbock Christian's also in action at the TAPS 4A regional round. They play Tyler All Saints, and they play in, all I can think of is the Buckaroos. That's the mascot, Breckenridge. Playing Breckenridge 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. Friday. A lot of football, and you guys are still playing football. It's pretty cool to be able to say after not being there for a while.
Yes, sir.
We talked before the break came up about what you guys are facing. I've said this to a couple coaches this week. Denton Ryan's got to be ready for you guys too.
No doubt.
It's not a one-way thing. They've got to understand what they've got to do against you guys. I mentioned 6 games in a row, averaging 50 points. Both of you guys are offensive guys. Q, what is working so well on that side of the ball? What's clicked since, well, even Amarillo High, you scored a bunch of points, but 7 games ago, really, when did things start kind of clicking for you guys offensively?
Us just coming together more, the brotherhood that we had built together and being more just together, the families just became closer, and we just work together, work harder, and make sure we're putting in the work and not taking days off, because we don't have time to take days off.
Well, I know the feeling. This guy's had a lot to do with it, too. What has Luke done this season to elevate his game to help you guys elevate as a team?
Being a great leader. He's our quarterback. Offense runs through him, and him being a great leader, keeping everybody head up, even through the mistakes that we make, he keeps everybody head up and goes to the next play and keeps everything going.
So I'm going to read these numbers. I promised I would, because you guys' balance is what catches my attention whenever I look at your stats. As a team, you've thrown for – get back up here. You've thrown for 1,928 yards. Most of those are Luke, 1,880. And he's thrown for 19 touchdowns. Dallas Trevino has 1 touchdown pass. And you've run for 2,389 yards. Kyrie is up over 1,000 yards, 1,057 yards. Dez would have been there. He missed a couple of games with injury. He's at 889. And then Deuce has 302 yards, Deuce Moore, in 6 games. So you guys balance as – last year you guys did a lot of good things offensively, but there wasn't a lot of balance.
Not at all.
How much different has that made your offense, Luke, for you to be able to throw the ball effectively, to take some of the heat off of the run, and vice versa, the run kind of helping you throw the ball?
Yeah, I think it just makes us real dangerous in what we can do. They take one thing away, we have an answer for another. So I think it makes us a really well-rounded football team, and I just think it makes us dangerous.
You play on both sides of the ball, Q. When you're facing those guys, when you slide over on defense and face these guys on offense, does it open your eyes a little bit? That I know you're part of it, but to see what they're able to do, but both running and passing, does it kind of catch your attention that these guys are pretty good?
Yes, sir. It does, with just different receivers and then different players on the other team.
You guys have a lot of receivers. You're one of those guys too, so we'll talk a little bit more about that, but I also want to talk about what you guys have done defensively during this winning streak, because you're averaging over 50 points a game and you're not giving up anywhere close to 50 points a game. That's pretty good math. I've always heard a coach say if you can have more points than the other team, that's a pretty good equation. So we'll be back to talk more about the Plainsman on the Plainsman Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. Welcome back to the final segment of the Plainsman Fan Zone. If you're watching on TV, you see that Judd Thrash has joined us, and the timing is good because we're getting ready to talk about defense, Judd, and I know you probably wake up talking about defense, go to bed. Your little girl probably can break down some defensive schemes by now. What about your guys' defense has been so good during this winning streak? Your offense has gotten a lot of attention, scoring 50 points a game, but your defense has been pretty dang good too.
I just think we've become better at tackling. We're only averaging like 6 missed tackles a game. When we first started at the beginning of the year, we were missing 12, 13, 14 tackles. So our tackling's improved. I just think our attention to detail has gotten better. We're reading our keys better, and we're paying attention to the little things. We're making better adjustments in the secondary. We had a lot of new players in the secondary. The game experience has helped them, get adjusted. And so we just been playing hard and running to the ball. And, I've told them it doesn't matter about the alignment, as long as you're running the ball. We've watched teams on film that don't line up the right way but run to the ball. That's the difference in, being really good.
Want to.
Yes, sir.
Wanting to get to the ball. That's big in high school football. It's big at all levels, but especially high school football. Yeah. So after Amarillo High got you that night, and they had the 21 points in 3 minutes or whatever it was, the only team that scored more than 17 after that was Tascosa, and I believe you guys had a big lead against them. They they were playing from behind quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. We've played well. Abilene High was averaging 50 points a game when they came in, and we held them to 17, and so that was a big job. And the guys just been playing relentless football on that side. So we've gotten better every week, and hopefully we maintain that same tenacity going into Denton Ryan.
The guy that the normal suspects always jump off the page, but Javeth Cruz, whenever Ralph Ramon sends me those stats, that's one of the guys I'm always looking for in defense. He's emerged as kind of one of those blue-collar type guys for you guys on that side of the ball.
Oh, yeah, he's a hard worker, wants to do well, plays the game really fast, has a great motor, and that's what you need on defense.
You guys talk about Javeth a little bit because Coach and I have talked about this. There was one baseball game last year as a freshman where he had a big hit. I think it was against Lubbock Cooper. I think he had the game-winning hit. And that, you guys have been other sport guys. Sometimes getting something like that when you're young kind of gives you a jolt of confidence. Have you seen that more in him as he's emerged more this year?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Javeth's a great player for us. He can do it all from linebacker to when we need him at running back when we're short or somebody's tired or the two's going. He'll go in there and he'll tote the rock. He's always got two hands on the ball. It's pretty funny to watch him run, but he runs real hard. He's got a lot of tenacity to him.
You spend some time over there with him on defense. What has it been like when he's come into the huddle? Because he seems like he's a pretty quiet kid.
No, he has energy. He always has energy, and he's 100% every play. He's gonna get to the play, even if he's making a mistake. He'll be 100%. He'll always make sure that he's doing right.
All right, I'll let Coach answer this in a minute here, but who's somebody else on that side of the ball that's been a spark plug for you guys these last 6 weeks? 6 games, 7 weeks.
Espen, him. Not many people just thought of Espen being one of the players on defense, but he's been a big part of the defense with being able to take on blocks and stopping runs and making fits and making calls for the defense to be able to get to the spots we need to.
And I've never asked him, is he named after the TV network?
No clue.
One of our coaches calls him ESPN.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
You hear people naming their children after, and that's what you get to do when you're a parent. So my children are stuck with their name. So same question for you, Judd. Who's somebody that's, when you look each week that you go, he's really making a difference for us?
Jaron Gomez, Espen Garcia, Willie Weatherspoon, L.A. Williams, Q Boyd. I mean, we got a lot of guys, that have just been stepping up. Q, we put him on number 3 from Abilene, and he didn't score another touchdown. Q has that, capability of shutting down the team's best receiver. He'll have a good receiver that he'll face this week, number 2, and Q's one of the best cover guys around. He runs 10.5, and so there ain't many people that can outrun Q. So, and he's smart. Q picks up tendencies that the other team does. He studies his receiver that he's going up against, and he's going to know him inside and out. And so that's the kind of mentality that our guys have learned is they study their opponents well. And like Denton Ryan, we got tendencies on them, and our guys have been watching them for 2.5 weeks, and so they'll play well.
So I'll tell a secret here. It's one thing when a coach talks about how smart you are, but one of your other teachers told me that same thing about you. They said you think things through. And I've got a high school kid at home. I know that's not always the case. So you're making an impact on people, Q. That's a pretty good thing to do as a high school.
Yes, sir.
And the Monterey Plainsmen are making an impact. They've got a chance to make a bigger impact Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. at ACU's Wildcat Stadium in the Class 5A Division I area round against Denton Ryan. We'll be back to talk about that after Thanksgiving on the High School Fan Zone. Come back after the break, and we'll be in the Westerner Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score.